people saying that, wow, these guys are dumb as fuck. But then they're watching a podcast and then they see that we actually have some really meaningful shit to share. You know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of the fusion of that thing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
How's your day going?
Pretty good. It's been busy. Like, I went to work this morning, went and got a haircut when I got off. Went to get my oil change. Like, I'm glad you texted me and reminded me because I totally forgot. When I saw him, I forgot. And then, like, I looked at your message. I was like, oh, man. So I just got caught up with today, though.
I'm glad. I actually, like, everyone I'm speaking to is in a different state, a different country. So there's this time difference thing. And so many times I would just text them like 15 minutes before and they're like, I forgot. And that's how I remember to always kind of like remind people a couple hours earlier so that we don't kind of miss out. So yeah, that's what's been up.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep you up. I was like, man, I forgot like we are in a different time zone. I was like, oh shoot, I'm so sorry. I hope she don't think I'm trying to cancel her.
No, not at all. I kind of got used to it, you know. It's like just something you have to deal with. And I'm more of like a late night person because it's more quiet and chill, and because podcast is so much about the audio, so there's like no one knocking on the door and shit. So what is it that now you're targeting? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Now, well, my niche is like super competitive. There's a lot of producers out here.
Yeah.
So I've tried to find things that they aren't doing. I've tried to find areas that they are slacking at, and I try to pinpoint on those areas to make me better, to make me stand out. Some of them have terrible customer service, so I try to make sure like my customer service is on point, which has actually been doing pretty good so far. So
that's good. So I mean, are you working on it full time?
Yeah, you might as well say it because I have a full-time job, but like once I get off from there, I pretty much put anywhere from I get off at 5, and then I might go to sleep at like 2. So you might as well say it's a full-time job. I put in anywhere from 7 to 8 hours. So
that's amazing. Props to you, man. You producing beats and everything. How are you finding your customers who are kind of buying it from you? Or like, how is that working out?
Sometimes it's a challenge. I try to make an online presence. I'm always looking for new things to do. Actually, I just came up with one. I don't want to put it out there yet.
Okay.
Maybe next podcast, if it works, then I'll definitely put it out there. But I noticed like no one's really using this platform, and I noticed like once I do a Google search, something from that platform pops up. So I'm like, I haven't seen any producers' beats pop up there yet. So maybe that's something I need to try to look into. But making an online presence is pretty key. Of course, I post them to Instagram.
Yeah.
I notice now when I go live, you know, your followers get notified. Somebody may follow you, you know, and they probably been following you for a while, but they never really like go through your content. So if nobody sees you, then they just pretty much just forget about you. So I try to go live, and I've been getting sales that way. Just reminding people like, okay, I followed him. You know, I've been following him for like 6 months, but I don't ever see his post. But yeah, I've noticed I've getting sales from, you know, just going live. Google traffic is a little weird.
Are you paying for it, or is it like organic for Google?
Yeah, I'm paying for Google now. If I can get to that point where like I'm on the first page, which I have, but it's only there for 24 hours because other people have been doing it longer. They outrank me, so. But mine will be on the first page. I figured out some little tips to get me on the first page, but it's only there for like 24 hours, so got some more digging to do.
Actually, it's so funny because you're a producer and I'm producing content, and through the podcast I've been speaking to so many different people, and some of them were artists, some of them are entrepreneurs, or like someone like me who's like just trying to figure out what to do. What everyone has in common is everyone producing content and, you know, putting themselves out there. And if you consume Gary, you know like what it means to create a personal brand and everything. And Gary recently put out this video which was, I don't know if you heard about this 80-20 rule. So it's like, you out of everything you do, the most value you're getting is out of only the 20% that you're doing. It's giving you 80% of the value, and 80% of the things that you're doing is only giving you 20% of the value.
Okay.
I know it's kind of confusing, but just to like kind of clarify. For example, you have all these social media platforms, right? Like Instagram, YouTube, and maybe Snapchat, right? Like let's just take three. So for a YouTube video, I'm putting in 5 to 6 hours. For a podcast, because it's an hour-long podcast, and it takes me almost 5 hours to edit it. So those are all hours into a podcast. But and then I'm doing the same thing for Snapchat. It's not a lot of hours, but then it's still producing content. And for Instagram. But now what we're noticing is, because Instagram has such a good organic reach, so the number of hours you're putting gives you more value as compared to the number of hours if you would put into YouTube or Snapchat. So Gary
Oh,
came
yeah.
up with this concept that put your 80% into Instagram, because that's what's up right now. You know, like you're getting discovered through to the discover page, through comment sections, and just things like that. Very easy to get discovered on Instagram. Whereas for YouTube, you have to hustle every single view, every single person who like kind of comes to you, right? And it's really like difficult to get people to YouTube. Like you have to be in a very different mind space to kind of consume it. But Instagram's quick, so if your shit's good, like someone just needs to kind of have like a little reflection of it or whatever, you know? So anyway, what I meant to say was Gary came up with this video which was talking about Instagram and how we should kind of devote our 80% to it. And I was noticing that I'm putting all these hours into YouTube, but I'm getting like 13 views after putting in 7 hours, right? But if I try to put that for Instagram, it's gonna like kind of make me you know, like it's about people, right? It's exposure. The more people see you, it doesn't really matter what platform. So I know this was a long thing, but just to come to the point that if you start putting out more content on Instagram, right? Whether it's your beats or whether it's just you kind of uploading a selfie video talking about anything, it has higher chances of getting discovered by people.
Oh yeah, I've
And
noticed that.
yeah, right? Instead of YouTube, it would be difficult for people to come to your YouTube channel. Gary keeps on saying this, everything goes down in the DM. So I say you start finding people, like artists. You'll find a lot of artists on Gary's comment section. That's how I'm finding everyone for my podcast. Because then
Oh,
everyone's kind of in the same mindset, right? It's music, but then it's also kind of a business, because you're supposed to market your music or your beats or whatever out there, right? So if you start DMing every artist, like every single artist, whether it's a top-notch artist or whether it's if it's a top-notch artist, like give your beats for free. Because I remember, who was this artist? I think his name's Blueface, who recently popped off with that song.
oh yeah.
Right? So what happened was that Drake, I think he was in this, I mean, he somehow met Drake at the right place at the right time. So Drake just kind of saw him. And just him meeting Drake gave him that little hit that he needed for him to come up, right? So you just need that one artist to kind of get familiar with you or to use your beats for you to hit. So I felt like that could be like an interesting way for you to kind of, you know, put yourself out there. What do you
Yeah, I'm
think?
always looking for some new stuff. It's been a fun journey so far, though.
Yeah, because I don't know why, but I've just been coming in contact with so many artists. Like everyone I'm finding from Gary's comment section, like 40% people were artists, and we were having very interesting we were having very interesting
Nice.
conversations, and it was so much about how can they market their music. So
Mm-hmm.
the one guy I was speaking to, I told him that his music's actually really good, but now it's all about marketing it, right? So I was like, why don't you, instead of DMing people to listen to your music, which would only be one view, why don't you try DMing like a meme page or these micro influencers and give them your music for free? Because people are already making so much content and then run out of music. But if their content gets consumed, it's not just one viewer, it's potentially hundreds of viewers at once. Or maybe like, you know,
Yeah,
like a couple thousand viewers at once. So kind of just make
yeah.
smart about marketing. So I thought I'll share that with
Well,
you because you're in the same industry.
I get a lot of DMs which I don't even look at because this niche, like the music industry, is pretty. It's really about building a relationship. Like a lot of them will just send the link to their video and won't say anything else. They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
mass send the video out like, no, hey, how you doing, or
Yeah.
you know, I just did this. No backstory behind it or nothing. They just send the link and that's it. So I'm like, I don't really care to look at it now
Yeah.
because I mean I'm turned off from it,
Yeah.
and I get that a lot. And I ask other people, have they seen it, and like they just pretty much ignore it too. They should just put a backstory behind it or make it a little personal. You know, talk to the person first. You know.
Yeah, of course. I was thinking about it because a lot of people creating content for business or as an artist, it's kind of the same thing because it's a product. Your music is your product, or as a business person, your product is your product, right? So what you're just doing is you're kind of pushing your product towards people. But what you're missing is that human element, Like your product means nothing to me. I couldn't care less. Why should I care about it? But because of you, because I connect with you as a person, your product would mean more to me. Like just kind of giving a backstory about your music video, how you made it. Something funny might have happened, something sad might have happened while recording it or something like that. That would give people so much more context and make your stuff more meaningful, So why don't you try producing content for yourself as well? Like I just saw the beats and your beats are pretty dope. That's how I reached out to you.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Why don't you make some content and stuff? Like if you consume Gary, you know what to do.
Yeah. I actually have a plan for that too. I know matter of fact, I know that's gonna work. I just haven't done it yet. It's in the pot though to actually tie into to the beats too.
So I haven't consumed Gary since 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty early, but still kind of a long time. But then he would keep pushing out to make content, and I was like, yes, I know it's the right thing to do, but I was like, I don't look good, I don't have anything meaningful to say, and like all these things that everyone has. And then I remember going through an article which was about the 1% of people and then the 99% of people. So the 1% of people are who make over $400,000, right? They come in the 1% bracket in the world, like people who make that much money. So the article was speaking about what are the qualities that the 1% have that the 99% don't. And it is overcoming these little things, something like perseverance, putting yourself out there. Like everyone's afraid and insecure. But you could be insecure and afraid in being in a comfortable place, or you could be insecure and afraid, and just take that leap of faith, take that risk, and put yourself out there. What if someone calls you stupid? That's it.
Like that one person is not gonna stop the train from moving,
And so many people I'm speaking to, everyone's like, yes, I have to make content, but no one kind of gets to it, and I understand it completely because it took me over a year just to get over the fact that it doesn't matter how I look. It doesn't matter if my content is not good because that's so subjective,
Yeah, you're holding yourself back.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's why I just wanted to kind of discuss it with you. Like, I hope you get some clarity or whatever to kind of move past it. Just pick up your phone and just start filming. Initial videos might not be great, but then with practice, you'll just get better,
Oh, yeah. I've tied it into like some of my earlier videos because I actually used to do like because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just, because my YouTube channel is actually like 2 years old. I started off kind of doing comedy type stuff, and then I was like, I can't keep doing that because I'll have to keep thinking like on what type of video to make next. Like I could, but it just took me that too long to do. So I was just like, I could do music. I could do that effortlessly, and I can just keep pushing out video after video,
Yeah.
So I just decided to stick with the music thing because it's something it's always came easy to me. So that's just what I'm going to stick with.
So there's also another concept he talks about, which is documenting versus creating, right? So creating takes a lot of thinking, like what do I do? What do I put out? This should be this should be that. But documenting is just picking up the phone and documenting, Something like when I was like, I don't have anything to say. But then I remember reading that an average person has 50,000 thoughts a day or something like that. So there's something going on in your mind constantly. All you have to do is over-communicate it. Like when you're making beats, you might just feel like maybe uninspired or you're very inspired. Or sometimes it's getting hard, but you're still enjoying it, Like, I mean, you've been sitting at it for like hours, but then you're like, fuck, like I can't do this anymore. But then because you love it so much, you're at it and you're like, this is the grind. So maybe just taking a little clip of that, filming it, that whole process or whatever your thoughts were creating that one beat would just kind of put you on the map and would kind of differentiate you from all the other producers. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dope idea. Yeah. Probably start doing that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, like, this whole podcast is me just building a community, and everyone I'm speaking to, the goal is to genuinely build a solid relationship with them, you know, irrespective of who they are. So all of us are trying to hustle, and all of us are trying to make something, not make something of ourselves, but all of us are like working towards something, right? So instead of being like alone and like just doing everything on our own, it's so much about like doing it together, you know?
Yes.
Helping each other, even if it's like just speaking with each other, maybe critiquing each other's content, or just collabing, you know? Things like that. So, I mean, you've got this, you know, like, I know it's going to be hard, but I mean, if you want something different, you've just got to overcome all of those things. So like, make it a point, you know, like, push yourself, make one video a day. I swear, like, it all compounds. That is something I've been learning. And somehow, every time I'm having a guest, they all watch Gary, so they know what's the right thing to do. But then I guess, only 20% of them are able to go out and actually start producing content because of the same reasons that everyone has. So I feel like it's just that line you got to cross with yourself.
Yeah. That's basically most people's biggest problem. Like, just getting out of their own way, just taking that one step forward. Like, once you get started, it's okay after that. You'll figure it out if you really want it. Like, you'll definitely figure it out.
That's so sure. That's like so true. Absolutely. There's this one question that I ask everyone on the podcast. Are you happy?
Of course. Yes, I'm happy. I'm always happy.
Of course.
Like,
that's a good answer.
They just, I don't know, sometimes you might have little thorns in your side throughout the day, but like overall, like, I just push it out of the way. I'm happy. Overall, happy. Yeah.
You're happy with you're producing and you're working and all these hours that you're putting. Are you happy with the results you're getting every single day?
Not every day, but you know, I know that this work that I'm doing will pay off. So I don't really get too consumed in what happened that day. I just keep the end goal in mind. I already see myself as in the position that I want to be in, so to speak.
What is your end goal? What would that be for you?
To have at least 5 #1 records. To have produced 5 #1 records and like have them all on the Billboard at one time. That's like my end goal.
That's amazing.
And then I'm on something else, yeah.
You know, I'm sure, like, DJ Khaled, the way he was already super popular and stuff. Not super popular, he was popular and all that stuff. But then once he really, really popped off was when he was doing these Snapchat videos. I don't know if you about know that, right? So he was producing beats. He was in the industry. He had already produced beats with a couple of well-known artists. But he was just a good producer in Hollywood. That's it. He wasn't DJ Khaled that he is now. But because of his Instagram videos, they did not even go viral because people were able to see his personality and they really enjoyed watching him and they enjoyed who he was as a person. So after that, after he became DJ Khaled and he put a name on it, every song he produced after that, people would go out of their way to listen to that song because it was like DJ Khaled put this out. Because his record had so much more meaning than just being like beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like you have an amazing goal. I love that you do not kind of like just short sell yourself. You have a huge goal and very achievable. It's been done so many times with so many people, right? It's just you, the goal and the work you have to put in. And I feel like one thing that really works is you look at the person, like, is there someone like you look up to, like you like, it's very close to where I see myself? Who would that be?
I would have to say T.I. You ever heard of that? Him? He's an artist.
I have.
That's pretty much how most people know him. But I noticed he has a lot of different stuff going on. Like, he's into real estate. He has land. He has a clothing line. He's an artist. He's an actor. So that's pretty much who I would look at to kind of model after.
That is, I see. Like, you're not an artist, but an entrepreneur. Right. So, I don't know, but I don't know so much about him. I know that he's there, but so how I'm trying to work is I look at the people who I want to be like and then work backwards and see the kind of work that they were doing in their early stages before they became who they were, you know? What is it that they were maybe reading? How many hours were they putting? What actions or what mindset were they in at that time? And that really helped me. So if you look at T.I., and I don't know if he has so much up on social media, how active he is. But if you try to pick up, maybe, I don't know if he's written books or maybe just up on the internet, you know, maybe like his before and after, if he's really popular. And look at what he was doing before. How was he like reaching out to artists and things like that? I feel like that might really, really help.
Well, I don't know, cause he got started like 10 plus years ago. So like nobody really consumes CDs anymore. So it's got to be like a way that I could use what he did and use it in this era now, because everything's pretty much like streaming and digital now. Sell CDs out of a trunk now.
Oh,
it's a little
that's
different.
how he started?
Yeah. Or that's how most of the artists started. Like they would, just be doing shows and giving CDs out of the trunk just to spread the awareness of who they are.
But what could be the modern version of it? So instead of selling CDs, you could give out your SoundCloud links to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you're into the free business, because Gary really emphasizes on that. He's like, as an artist or as a producer, because you would need an artist, right? The top people who are at the top of the game, it's just a matter of probability that he talks about, and I think that's really smart, right? He's like, you start setting your beats or whatever to all these artists, right? One person's gonna say no, 100 people are gonna say no, maybe 400 people say no. But then you're gonna find this one person who just for the heck of it is gonna say yes. And that's how things just change. So he's like, it's that hustle that you need to kind of pick up on, just literally sitting in your bed and just DMing people. He says like, for people like me, he's like, offer to work for free for people you look up to. So just keep DMing people and see if you can work for free. Just give value first, and then you can think about receiving it. Because if a top-notch artist uses your beats, I mean, that's way more than the short-term money that person can give you, So how do you like that idea of like just maybe DMing artists, like literally from your bed all day long, as many as you can, until you get like a yes?
I do that sometimes. There's an app called Rap Chat. It's almost like Instagram, but it's specifically for artists. And so I post beats to that app, which is pretty much giving it away for free or letting them use it. And that's actually been doing pretty well. I've gotten a few customers from using that app.
They wouldn't be like super big artists, right?
No, this kind of like
up and coming.
Up and coming regular people,
Yeah. So,
but I actually had it came from running ads though, which actually surprised me. I've had 2 major artists actually hit me up. They actually jumped in the DM, so I thought that was actually pretty cool. But those came from running ads.
So were you able to work with them?
Not yet, no. Just still building the relationships.
I see. Dude, honestly, I'm saying, because I mean, I'm such a heavy consumer of what Gary says, because I know it works. He's proven himself on and on again. And he says it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. If you produce content, that is the answer to everything. Because, you might just be making a video and just talking about your journey, Like it's maybe you having a blast making beats, even though you're not getting a lot of customers, or you're having a really, really difficult time making beats, even though you're not getting any customers. Or maybe you are, right? Just that human thing. When people consume that, they just need to kind of connect with that. And it's just a matter of time when that hit. Like getting that human element. And I feel like that's really missing from social media. And if all of us can be that one person who go down that route, Like you're just talking to other aspiring producers. Just talking to them, Like, you guys, you're starting out. I know it's going to be difficult. And you might spend all these hours. Or, like just giving advice or whatever. Like just communicating to whatever comes more natural and more truthful to you, whether it's advice, whether it's just sharing how you're feeling or whatever. And I feel like if you do that, like your progress might be so much more quicker.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea, because that's I think we're all guilty of it though. Like we produce the media, but we forget the social part.
That is the truest shit ever. We forget it's social media. People are like, look at me, I'm pretty. That's it.
Yeah. But you forget the social part.
So, about the podcast, one of the thing was that we're just collabing with one another. And because we don't have a common ground, we collab with each other just as like, it might sound weird, but just as human beings, like even right now, we're just having a conversation. That's it. I don't know a lot about producers, and you might not know a lot about me, but it doesn't matter, because what we know about each other is that we're trying to work hard and we're trying to accomplish our goals, and that's it, So I feel like once you start producing content, what's going to get easier for you is just to collab with people as well, I mean, would you be down for that idea?
Yeah.
It's just like kind of increasing your possibilities, right? Like the more people see you, the higher probability you have of the opportunities that come to you, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Most definitely. Yeah.
And talking to you, like, you're a dope person, and I feel like generally if you like just put out videos, just talking, whatever is it, if it's literally, I remember Gary saying that someone was like, what do I talk about? So he's like, just talk about your life. Like something
Yeah.
like, I fell, I tripped, I
Mm-hmm.
hurt my ankle.
Yeah.
And then you might just get a comment of someone saying, you know, I fell too. Like, you
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
right?
That's
You just,
always it. You will find everybody's failed before. Like somebody will say it.
right.
Somebody will comment on it.
Yeah, so
Most
just,
definitely.
you know, like not thinking a lot, but just kind of doing. And trust me, it's very, very difficult. It's way easier said than done. But this little transition that you make will be like the deciding factor for, I guess, where all of us are heading, you know?
We're all going up.
All going up. But what I'm just observing with, just like speaking with people and stuff, is that everyone has goals, right? Everyone, no one's like just sitting back, like they're like, you know, no, I don't give a fuck about money. I don't want a house. I don't want to be happy. I'm like just happy watching Netflix. Everyone wants something, right? But
Yeah.
the majority of people say they want it, but they don't, because I mean, you just see it like after the podcast, they're like, you know, like, yes, let's collaborate. I'm gonna make content. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. But then they're quiet and they're not doing anything, you know. And I understand, you know, you get very crippled about perfection and what people think of you and things like that. But it's just that little faith, that little leap of faith that, you know, you gotta take risk. So I feel like, I mean, I was guilty of it for sure for a year, but now I feel like I'm overcoming it a little bit. Yeah, so like I really am trying to push you to make the content and do that stuff, you know, because I mean, all of us want to go up, but all of us are not going up, you know? It's only the people who actually put in the work are gonna go up.
It actually helps to have someone push you, or not to be in such like as competition, but just have somebody push you that has the same goals in mind. I met a friend of mine. Actually collabed with him on his channel. He has 2 channels actually, but I jumped on his second channel. His first channel is actually really doing really good. He's almost at like 30,000 subscribers.
I see.
So his first channel is doing good. So I did a collaboration with him on his second channel, and that one was actually pretty fun. And for his first channel, we challenged. This was like in December. We challenged each other to make a video a day for the full month of December. And whoever loses, it was just like a wild consequence. I think we had to. I think one of us had to. Whoever did not post a video for, you know, whoever skipped a day would have to wear a dress on the other person's channel.
Okay.
And so that really gave me that incentive to not skip a day because I'm not wearing a dress. So it helped me push. Some of my most viewed videos came from those posting. You know, one of those 30 videos. Yeah. Some of my most viewed videos have came from that. So I thought that was pretty fun.
It is fun, right? Like just so. I mean, I feel like I'm a people's person. I thrive off of people instead of like just doing everything alone. That's why the podcasting came in, and that's why I felt building a team was so important. You know, like even just virtually, because everyone's trying to do it, everyone's trying to accomplish it, but not everyone's putting in the work. And I feel like that's why consuming Gary has helped me a lot, because I wasn't putting in the work. I had all these ambitions and goals, and I was like, I can't breathe without them. But then I would just like come back and watch some Netflix, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's okay. You know, we're human. We get crippled by our reality or whatever. But if you get, like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it's just that deciding factor. That one little thing that you do that kind of separates you from everyone. And that's what I'm like kind of noticing. And I mean, what I meant to say was, like, you know, you're a producer and now you're making all this content, right? You can just find another producer who's in the same followers range as you, and you guys could do like such a fun collaboration, not with just beats.
Do collab with other producers. I actually have to finish a video today for one guy.
But
We collabed on a beat.
do you put it on Instagram?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
They just kind of put it on Instagram so people can like see you as a person, and just not a collab with just kind of music, but collab is like two people, maybe just talking about music, maybe just talking about producing beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Definitely a good idea.
It is, man, but you know you gotta do it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because you're good. Like I listen to your stuff. It's actually really good. But
I appreciate it.
you gotta know that there are so many people who are good, you know? Like hard work beats talent. And that's just a fact. But if you gotta put in the work and if you have talent, whether it's a lot, whether it's a little big, work's gonna beat it. But even if you have like a little bit talent and you have a great work ethic, like you're telling me you're working a 9 to 5 and then you work till 2 in the morning, not a lot of people can do that. So that already says so much about you, that you have an incredible work ethic. And then you're talented. Like, I don't see, like, there's nothing that you don't have. Now you just gotta, like, kind of work smartly and, you know, like, start putting stuff up. Kind of try to get a little bit of momentum. And if you give yourself a goal that every single day I'm gonna put out one video, and it could be like just any video. Literally could be the trashiest video saying like, you know, so I made a determination to pull out one video, but today I have nothing to say, so that's the video. I have nothing to say. And I just put it out, right? I think people would be able to relate to that more to you as a person than if you were giving like really good beats, but like just once a month.
Yeah.
So just show
That's
that.
actually really good. I slacked on Instagram.
Dude, Instagram's
Like
the shit. Like, if you put in your work and time, and like, I'm stuck at Instagram. I have like 50 posts in 3 years, so I know what you mean.
You gotta push each other to make more videos.
Dude, it's just, I know, because I feel like a lot of people from my school follow me, people I know follow me, and if I like look stupid, I'm gonna look, you know, like all of us have that. But
no, you would say something like relatable, something that'll like resonate with them. You know, I mean, we're all human, so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's something that they could relate to.
Like literally, and not thinking about, okay, what is this something someone can relate to, but just kind of speaking your life. Like yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, like I was just having this thought, like people could keep telling me like social media is so toxic. I'm like, that's my whole life. Like I'm trying to build a business on social media and you're saying it's toxic. I was like, I don't get it, how? And then I noticed the reason it's toxic is because they're following all these people that are just posting pictures. And like they would take 50 pictures and get one good picture and they would like post it and like candid, and then people would think that, you know, like their lives like that, and they just kind of keep going deeper inside that hole. And I was like, are you serious? That's how you're investing your time? No wonder it's toxic for you, right?
Yeah, that's all the way you look at it, right? Pretty much.
So like TV could be toxic, you know, or TV could be very beneficial. Like I don't know, like it's just you. It's not like things that are toxic, it's you that's toxic. Because
it's what you're allowing that's the toxic part.
Yes, I had this thought, I was like, fuck it. I just pulled out my phone. I was like, you bitches, like stop telling me social media is toxic. And I just went up. Yeah, and then there were people who were like, yeah, you know, you're right. And I was like, I know. So whatever thoughts you're having, dude, like just put it, like you're well spoken, and just make videos. Just make videos.
I'm gonna do it.
So I was thinking, like, do you want to collab? Like, let's do a fun collab for Instagram. I think that's gonna be super cool. That's one idea that I'm having. I'm doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, but now I want to do, like, for YouTube, you know, like, for example, your people want to see you how you are on a podcast, right? That requires them to come to my profile and go to my YouTube and find your videos. That's a lot of friction. But if we have a video up on Instagram, maybe I was thinking of a segment of like a 1-minute podcast. Just in that 1 minute, you speak about whatever you want to speak about, you know, whatever's the most important to you, whatever like defines you, you feel like, or whatever, you know, just a post like that. And that could be a 1-minute podcast section. And we could make one for your page and one for my page. I thought that would be kind of cool. So like let your followers also know that you're now networking with people. like just kind of creating that whole vibe. You're out there, you're putting yourself out there. What do you think?
At the same time, still just making content pretty much. So yeah, I think that's a dope idea. I'm down.
What would you want to do? One collab should be an actual collab, which would be like you're making beats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, what is it that I can add to that? Making a cohesive post that could be followed up with a 1-minute podcast, which kind of gives us context of who we are.
Let me see. What do you feel like your strengths are?
I actually spoke with this artist, and I really loved his music, and it did not get a lot of views. So I told him that let's try to do a collab. And I'm the least creative person ever, so it's very difficult for me to pull it off. But I was like,
creative now. You're just shooting up ideas. That's creativity. That's your creativity coming up.
I mean, I really don't know, but I don't know. I was just trying to do something. So I tried to put his music video and try to do some like a stupid dance or whatever, and made like this one video. I'm not sure how it turned out. You want to see it? Should I show it to you? You could you could rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
You got a pair of shades on?
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, how do I make this funny? So I just kind of try to put them together.
Pretty dope though. It's being creative.
I don't know. Anyway, just fuck that. I just showed it to you like to give you a little bit of context. So I was thinking something we could, I don't know, maybe funny, maybe something that kind of grabs attention, and that being followed up with the podcast, like giving people some entertainment, but then that being followed up with like a good real conversation. I feel like that would be so much more cooler.
Have you had him on the podcast yet?
Yeah, I've had him.
Looking
and
for
it's a
something
1-minute video. It took me legit like 3 hours to edit it.
Like 3 hours?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not good at editing. I just learned it from YouTube. So it's a lot of like trial and error, and
you'll get faster with it after a while.
Yeah, for sure. But I was thinking like, let's try to brainstorm how we can do a collab. I don't know how can I add.
The things that I think about, I actually I vlog on Snapchat, and I should probably put it on Instagram, because I always have something stupid in my head. I always think about something stupid, so I should probably post it to Instagram instead of putting it on Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat disappears.
People on Snapchat, like, I know pretty much everybody that follows me on Snapchat, and so they already know who I am, or the way I am, the way I act. Yeah. So I should just translate that over to Instagram, because I'm really goofy, and nobody sees that side.
That's such a good thing. Dude, all these little characteristics are what's gonna add so much character to your page. Like when someone lands there, more than your beats, they should be like, I love this dude. And then they're like, wait, he makes dope ass beats. I'm gonna hit him up, It's so much about like person to person relationships. So like, let's try to do a good collab. So even when, I won't say my people or whatever, but if like my followers somehow translate to you, they should be able to like kind of get to know you, like who you are, and of course your work as well. So let's try to do a good, fun collab. I mean, I'm just trying to brainstorm because I don't know how I can add any. I don't have a thing, so that's why it's hard.
You probably do what do you feel like your strong points are? Like, what do you?
I can just talk to people. That's it. Like I have no strong.
You are a damn good interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
I picked that up like the first video I watched on YouTube, and I listened to the questions you asked. I'm like, damn, she's a good interviewer.
Thank you.
That was like, I picked that up the first video I watched. I was like, that's cool. That's dope. Oh, did you look at the I think I thought I sent it to you. Like Impact Theory. He's pretty much doing what you're doing. Just getting to know people. He does the full interview, but he breaks some of them up. So you get like the highlight questions but later on he'll post like the full interview. Yeah. So all equals like, watch time on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is like what they're looking for. They're looking for how long someone stays on your channel and watches the video. So that's just a little side note.
That is something I need to work on. The thing is that when I'm editing these podcasts, right? So imagine like first of all you have a conversation, right? And then you're editing it for like at least 4 hours. If it's a 1 hour thing, there are podcasts that are for 2 hours. I've been sitting for like a whole day editing them. After I keep on hearing editing them, once I've edited them, I've had it. I don't want to see them, I don't want to touch them, and that's just something that happens. I'm just trying to, as soon as I find that we said something interesting, kind of chop that part out and put it on Instagram. That is something I'm working on, to kind of just put a 1 minute highlight or whatever. But thank you, I will need to work hard on that. I'm trying to, that's so much of extra work, I have to put in that work. So new to editing, I never thought I could edit or I could make a thumbnail or whatever, but then just kind of taught myself through YouTube. But yeah, just kind of taking one step at a time. But yes, Instagram is the move right now. So tell me, what can we do for our collab? People are saying that, wow, these guys are dumb as fuck. But then they're watching a podcast and then they see that we actually have some really meaningful shit to share. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of the fusion of that thing.
Gotcha. Just grabbing their attention in a different way.
Exactly.
Shit, you hurt my brain.
Don't worry, if it's difficult to think something on the spot, let's give ourselves a date. Today's what? Today's Saturday, right? So by Wednesday, if you can make a video, would you want to, would you be down for it, just to make a video of yourself on a beat, on your beats, right? Whichever beats your favorite that you've produced, make a goofy video, or I don't know, just doing whatever you want to do on that beat. And then from that video, we can think of how can I add myself to that video.
Okay, I think I could do that by Wednesday.
Yeah?
Something will pop up, yeah.
Don't worry. That day, I just kind of played his music and I was like, I'm gonna just do whatever the fuck I want. And I recorded a 10-minute video. Out of that 10 minute, I got 1 minute. Not even 1 minute. That 1 minute has 20 seconds clip of me, right? You'll get something. So we just have to make not even a 1 minute video, a 40-second video, and then just chop up the highlights and put yourself on the beat, and then we can just kind of brainstorm how to go from there.
Sounds good. We'll do that.
So that's our Instagram collaboration right there. I'm glad, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
After all of that, now you were supposed to make videos for yourself as well, for your Instagram, and I'll be on the lookout.
Now that you say that, that'll actually give me the incentive of okay, I gotta do something today,
Literally, just take 30 minutes out of your day, right? I know you have a very tight schedule. 30 minutes a day, just sit with your phone and just whatever comes to your mind, something happened at work, something you witnessed, something you were feeling, whatever the fuck it is, just push out one video. And from there, we'll start seeing how can we scale your content, and I'll see how I can scale mine,
Sounds good.
Let's work hard and consume Gary, and can't wait to see what you do. All right,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Of course. And reach out to me. Let me know if there's anything I can do to support you or whatever. I'll be more than happy. Add value in any way. Let me know. I'll be there.
Okay. Well, same for you. I'll be here.
One thing before you go. So I was thinking before we upload our posts and everything, we can do a live video.
Okay.
Right? So just to give people a contact. So we know each other, and now we're posting a collab. And that would kind of, you said, going live notifies people. And if we go live with each other, just talking about whatever, and then we post our collab. So that kind of gives people, yes, they know each other. Now they've come up with a collab so that they would be more inclined to watch it. And just kind of things going on from there.
Sounds good. Gotcha.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yep.
See you.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
She wanna spend the night, but she can't spend the night. She wanna be my wife, but she can't be my wife. Yeah. She said she hate when I go. She want me to stay. Wish I didn't have to leave so soon. It's too late. I'm already on the first flight out to the door. My phone doesn't work.